So here's another question, like at your early stage about your first company, how do you convince your clients that you have a lot of evidence and proof to show you can handle this pretty well? Because that would be very hard.
So I love this question. So I frame it as like how to become the trusted expert. And there are so many angles that you can take on this to make yourself the go-to expert. And a lot of it, it's the frame is more important than the picture itself. So what you're saying can be framed differently. So I think if I was to put it into a social media context, because everybody's marketing themselves on social media because it's free and it's a great place to be. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, I'm saying you should. But loads of people say stuff like, here's 3 tips to you. I hate that. Don't do it. Why would you do that? So I'm going to ask you a question. Which one of these do you prefer? Here's 3 tips to get more clients on social media. That's option A. Here's option 2. I did these 3 things and all of my clients got more clients by the end of the month using these 3 strategies. Which one do you prefer? I'm going to tell you the exact same tips and information, but which one?
Second,
definitely.
Yeah, it sounds... I want to earn the money.
You want to earn the money, right? So it's the frame. So I'm telling it and giving it proof behind it. I'm telling you the proof. So you can also, if you are new to an industry, you've never worked with a particular kind of client, and I hadn't. Like when I went into business consultancy, I worked in strip clubs before. So how do I then tell somebody who is an equine physiotherapist or a riding instructor, I can help you run your business because I manage a strip club? Like they're going to be like, no, right?
Different.
So what I do is I pick out scenarios from what I've done in that business and how it's going to relate to that business. So I might not say, in the strip club we did this, but I might say, in the past, so your problem is that you can't bring clients into your business or you can't get enough people to engage with your social media post. So I say, in the past, one of the ways that I brought more people into a business was by doing more market research, and we did X, Y, and Z, and this delivered more results. And in fact, this increased our average transactional value and the amount of money coming into the business by this amount by doing these strategies. I haven't mentioned that I'm in a strip club, but I have told you the results that I've got. Even though I don't have any direct experience in your industry, I know that the strategies are going to work because they're basic marketing strategies. They're basic business principles. I know they're transferable in the same way that if you're a photographer who does food photography and someone says, do you have any experience in beauty? You can say, instead of saying no, you can say, well, I've got loads of experience with lighting and I've done these professional catalogue shoots and I've done these professional product shoots. And you take like a common problem that people have that they struggle to solve and you talk about a time that you've solved that problem, even though you've never directly worked on a beauty model, but you have done product photography.
Yeah.
And you transfer things. Tell a story. Tell a story. You can also, so social proof, you can be your own biggest social proof.
Yeah.
I think as well, like, especially if you solve a problem, you can be your own social proof. So let's go back to the, let's say we've got a fitness instructor. You don't have any clients yet because you're brand new, but you obviously got into fitness for a reason and you're passionate about it for a reason. So you have a before and after story, right? You have a story to tell about a time where you weren't fit, or a time that you struggled to run 5K, or a time that maybe you had weight problems and you couldn't manage your weight effectively, and a time from where you are now and why people should trust you. Yeah. So you tell your own story and you start framing it. Instead of here's 3 tips to lose weight, you say here's 3 things that I did every day that helped me lose blah, blah, blah weight, or that helped me prepare for a marathon. And you start framing it in that sort of authority and building that context. You can also do the same for your clients. So if you've worked on a project, you can be like, this is how we delivered these results. This is how we solved this problem, and using that. So even just plucking little bits of experience out, if you can tell a story, this is going to resonate so much more and build up that credibility and authority. And also being introduced to someone as an expert. I think if you can come into a room and somebody else introduces you as an expert, that makes all of the difference. So if I want to be introduced as a marketing expert authority, I go on a podcast and I get introduced as a neuromarketing specialist, which means that whoever's listening to it sees me already as an authority. Maybe it's when I go into a lecture hall, I'm being introduced as, this is Rhiannon-Amber, she's a specialist in assisting startup businesses and helping people with their marketing. They are already looking at me as if they look at you in a different light. If you meet me on the street and I say I work in marketing, it's a completely different place to me being stood on a stage and saying, hi, I'm a neuromarketing specialist and I've been brought here today by the University of blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? Like you're in an authority position from the start. You can also achieve this by, like I say, going on podcasts. You can achieve this by like writing like articles in magazines, appearing on blog posts, stuff like that. Maybe partnering with somebody on social media to do a live together to input your authority and expertise. Just showing up in the right places is more important than the experience that you actually have.